Good morning, everyone. In this session, we will look at Python. That is the last part of your third unit. Now, here, as I said, that Python is very vast. We will not be looking at each and everything in Python, but as per the syllabus, we will be covering up whatever is needed for Python. I mean, whatever is needed for web programming using Python. So we mostly concentrate on strings, and then as well as the other dictionaries and some of the data structures that Python has. And finally, we will try to, as per the syllabus, we will be implementing the what do you call the web programming part. That is, we'll create a form and then we will try to write a Python script to extract the contents from the form, the way we did it with servlets as well as Java server pages. So let us start the Python part. Now, for the basics introduction of Python, Python is a very robust language, as well as it is very easy to write, and Python is interpreted. It is not compiled as your Java and C or C++. Python is an interpreted language. Now, apart from being interpreted, Python is also object-oriented language. Now, very few languages are which are object-oriented and interpreted. Java, C++, they are all object-oriented programming, but they are compiled programs. So actually in Python, everything is treated as an object. Even if you declare a variable, it is treated as an object in Python. So the variable or object is synonymous in terms of Python programming language. And obviously, Python is developed taking the advantages of all the other or multiple programming languages, and it follows a mixture of different programming paradigms. The performance is very efficient. That is, the memory management is very efficient. That is why the performance of Python programs are much faster when compared to the other programming languages. And then as we have Java C and GCC for compiling the Java programs and compiling the C programs. The same way, though we are not compiling it here, we will be running the Python scripts. So sometimes it is called as Python programs or Python scripts because these programs or scripts are interpreted. So there are three different ways actually to start a Python or to run the Python programs. The first way is to use the interactive interpreter. This interactive interpreter is nothing but it is just like a command prompt where we can start typing the Python statements on the terminal itself. And since it is interpreted language, each statement, once you type and enter, it will get it will execute those statements. The second thing is running the script itself. Now, instead of typing each command on the Python interactive interpreter, we can write the statements in a file and save it as a Python script with extension of py.py as the extension, and then we can run that script in the interpreter. And third form is using the graphical user interface. Python by default comes with an interface known as idle. Now, this Python interface is also just like a command prompt, but it has got many other features built into it. Now, the interactive interpreter, we can just, as I told you, start coding from the command line itself. We can just open a command prompt and just type Python as the in the command prompt. And once you type Python, you will be getting the three angle, what do you call, brackets. That is angle brackets in the sense three uh, greater than symbols. And just with that, we can start typing and start the interpreter. With start the interpreter, and we can execute one statement. The script line by line. Then running the Python script is we need to create a script, save it in a what you call a file known as .py extension, and just by double clicking that script file, we can run it, or we can also open the command prompt and go to that particular directory where we have the Python script, as well as just type the name of Python file .py extension. We will be able to run the script. Then running from the idle. Once you install Python, with that Python itself, idle editor will come. Once we open it, actually the full form for idle is nothing but integrated development environment. And then we can start executing statements line by line as we do it in what you call in a command prompt, using the command prompt. Or we can also run the Python script within the idle interpreter. Now this Python idle or Python program, or Python interpret sorry, not the program, Python interpreter, what we are saying or what we are calling is, this is nothing but this is nothing but it's come directly with, these are the all are free software. You can just Google Python, download, and you will get the latest version of Python for Windows or Mac, or whatever you have it. And then depending on that, we can just depending on your operating system, you can download that. Once you download it on your Windows start menu itself, you'll get the idle editor as well as Python. Now there is a question: is it idle or IDE? IDE is no, it's not IDE. It's not integrated development environment. In integrated development environment, you try to write the code inside that. There is a question here whether it's idle or IDE. It is not IDE. And it is idle itself is not. Idle also is not an IDE. In IDE, you have it's an integrated environment. Means you write the code in the same environment. You compile the code in the same environment and execute the code in the same environment. Idle is different. Idle is you don't write the interpret there. So since we don't execute it, the word idle, it's a Python word. So usually IDE, what we call is for Java, is for HTML, not HTML, that is NetBeans or Eclipse. Those are IDEs. But in Python, we don't call an IDE. We call it as idle. It comes with the Python itself. So don't call it as IDE, or don't say it as just say it as an idle itself. Don't say it as, it's not like your Java or Eclipse or other studios. They are other IDEs for Python. But idle don't, the full form for idle is integrated development environment, but don't call it as IDE, call it as idle. For Python, there are other IDEs which are known as, for example, PyCharm is there. It's an IDE for Python itself. So hope that I mean, in a broad way, call it as idle, not IDE. And okay, let us move further. Where were we? Okay. Now we will move further. So once you have the once you have the what do you call interpreter, Python interpreter uninstalled, then let us now talk about the different types we have in Python. Very first thing we will talk about is numbers. Now, number is a type there. A number we can call it as any object created of the type number. Number handles integers, a Boolean value, a floating point numbers, as well as complex numbers. Now, the what do you call though Boolean is a different data type itself, but integer and floating point complex numbers forms a part of the number. Now, the arithmetic operations, though it contains different operations, I mean, before we move on to the arithmetic operations, let us just talk about the Boolean type. Here, the Boolean type is true and false. It is not 0 and 1. It is true and false. Let us move further. I have just clubbed Boolean into numbers because it only have making slides much easier. So Boolean is a different. It doesn't use zeros and ones. It uses true and false value. But in the C and C++, you can use 0 and 1 for Boolean. But here it is only true and false. Okay, let us talk about the arithmetic operation. We have a usual addition operation, you all know. You have a subtraction operation, multiplication operation. Now, and the division operation. Now, remember the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Here, what you are doing is you are doing it on two operands. They are binary operators. Now, once we move on to string, we will talk about this plus operator, which works as a what do you call the plus operator, which works as we will talk about how concatenation happens with the plus operator, as well as even multiplication operator can be applied on strings. But right now we are talking about numbers here. So these operations what we are performing are on numbers. Now the next thing is, this is a special operator here, which is known as integer division. Now, earlier division was only a single slash was the division. This is the integer division. Now, what happens in integer division is it will only return the integer part of the division operation. For example, if you have 10 divided by 3, the division result is 3.333. So it will only return 3. The same way, if you have 7 divided by 2, the result is 3.45. It will only return the integer part. 3.55 in the sense it will return only 3. It does not even return the what do you call the result is not even a rounded figure. So 3.5 sometimes in You might think that the operation returning integer means 3.5 will get converted into 4 or rounded to 4. It's not that. It thing is, integer division only returns the what do you call integer part. So if 10 divided by 3 is the 10 divided by 3, the result is 3.333. It returns 3 itself, integer part. If it is, for example, 7 divided by 2, the result is 3.5. Even then, it will return only the integer part, that is 3. Now here the what do you call modulus operator, which is a remainder operator, percentage sign. Obviously, it will return the what do you call, as in other programming languages, the obvious operation is it will return the remainder. But remember that this the remainder, you can apply it on floating point numbers also. The remainder part you can apply on floating point numbers also. The next thing is, what do we call, is it is the exponential operator or the power operator. Now this power operator will give us what do you call, 2 point for example 2 exponent double asterisk 3 will give us 8 as the result. So it is power operator or exponential operator. Now in there is a underscore. This underscore in idle, Python's idle, will give the result of the last computed expression. So this, in terms of operations, this will not take any it will not take any. We can't call it as a binary operator, but once you use the underscore, the last the value of the last computed expression will be returned in idle. Then we can also have handle complex numbers, that is real plus imaginary part. We can write complex numbers as 8 plus whatever 3j or 1.4j and so. Then suppose if we assign this as a variable, for example, x equal to 8 plus 1.4j as a complex number, then that variable x dot real part will give us the result as 8, and x plus imag part or imaginary part will give us the vertical result as 1.4. So the vertical complex numbers can be created plus using x plus yj, but we can individually retrieve the real as well as the imaginary part. Then Python also has a CMath as the library, which supports multiple math functions for what do you call for complex numbers. That is adding a complex numbers and other mathematical operations that can be performed on complex numbers. So this was the basics of numbers. We will move further with the strings. Now strings objects can also be created in Python using strings. String, as we all know, these are the what you call sequence of characters. Now in Python, the string can be enclosed uh, using a single quote or a double quoted. So we can create string using single or double quotes. Not only that, we can also create strings using triple quotes, triple, single, and triple double quotes. But we will not go into that detail. Just remember that in Python, the strings can be created using single quotes as well as double quotes. Now, there is no character type in Python. For example, other programming languages, what you have is you have a character data type, and then using array of characters, you call it as a string. And string is a separate class itself in other programming languages. But in Python, there is no character type. It is string. So to represent a single, characters, it will be a string in single or double quotes with only a single character. Just remember that the string, there is no character type. It is strings in Python. Now, strings can be literals as well as scalar types. That is what I told you. It can be, the sequence, or it can be only a single character which represents a single, what you call digit, a single character which represents character types. Now, strings are immutable in Python. Actually, in every programming language, strings are immutable. Immutable means once a string is created, we cannot change this string. Now, this statement might be very confusing for you when we say that once we create a string, we cannot change it. For example, if I create a string as hello, assume that I'm having a string str. Let's not say str, because str itself is strings are created using str function. Let us assume that there is a what you call, let's say s1 is a string, s1 equal to, in single quotes, hello. So s1 hello becomes the value for the string s1. When I'm saying once strings are created, it cannot be changed, or when we say strings are immutable, that means, now suppose if I use that same, now s1 is containing hello as the value of the string. Now suppose if I say s1 equal to, in single or double quotes, if I say MJCET. Now, if you look at these statements, what is happening is you may think that now the value of hello is being replaced by MJCET. So when value of hello is replaced by MJCET, now string S1 will be containing a new value, which is MJCET. But we are saying strings are immutable. What this means is S1, when it was assigned a value hello, there was a different different space in the memory that was allocated. An object was created. Now when S1 value is changed to, instead of hello, it is changed to MJCET, the previous object is destroyed and a new object or new location in the memory is created, which will contain the value as MJCET for the string. So immutable means once it is created, it cannot be changed. So when we assign a new value to these strings and all, a new object will be created in the memory, and old object is destroyed. So that is what we mean by immutable. Now this immutable and mutable we will be using in the later sessions also, when we try to create, or when we try to go into the depth of other data structures that Python has. Now, let us the creating and assigning strings. Obviously, we will use the assignment operator to create. Once we use assignment operator, that is equal to sign, strings will be created, and the value of the string is assigned. And remember one thing: any variable or any object you create in Python, that object has to be initialized. We will not be using any new as the keyword here to create an object. We will be just be using the assignment operator, that is the equal to sign. So once we type the equal to sign, the object is created as well as it is assigned a value. Now if we do not know the value of the value has to be computed later in the program or this Python script, then obviously we have to assign some value known as a zero or a null or a blank or an empty string. So just remember that to create objects, we have to use assignment operator. Now, as other programming languages has the escape sequence, even in Python, we have the escape sequence, that is /n/t will give us new line character or tabs. Now, the plus operator, what we talked in arithmetic, if two operands are numbers in the sense it is integers or they are what you call uh, floating point numbers, then the plus symbol will be used as an addition operation. But if both the operands, remember one thing, if both the operands are strings, then only plus symbol is used as a concatenation operator. Now, other programming languages, what happens is if one operand is an integer, the other operand may be float or number or whatever type it is, and plus operator, even if one operand is there, it is considered as, if the first operand is a string, it will be considered as, the complete expression will be considered as a concatenation of expression. But in Python, both the operands should be strings, only then the concatenation operator works. So suppose if I have something known as what do you call CSE is one plus, if I use A, both are strings. If both are strings, then I will have the value as CSE A. Now suppose if I have CSE plus and some value 10, then I'll get an error because 10 is a numeric type. So 10 has to be converted into a string using the str function, and then this 10 can be concatenated with the previous value. So always remember, for concatenation, both the operands, for concatenation operation, both the operands should be strings. Then the next thing is we have an asterisk, which is a multiplication operator. But multiplication, if both the operands are numbers, either it is integers or floating point numbers, then the operation will be a multiplication operation. But suppose if if one operand is a string, remember one operand is a string and the other operand is a number, that is an integer. I mean, we cannot have floating point numbers. One operand is a string, the other operand is a number. What happens is that string will be repeated that many number of times. So for example, if I say MJCT, this what you call multiplication operator, or in this case it is the asterisk, which is a repetition operator. So MJCT, multiplication repetition operator, that is multiplication multiplied by, suppose if I say 3, that means MJCT will be repeated 3 times. Now I cannot have 3.5 floating point number. That doesn't make any sense for repetition operation. As well as I cannot have both the operands as string. So I cannot have MJCT as one string multiplied by CSE as another string. That is not possible. That will give us an error. So always remember, string concatenation, both operands should be strings. In repetition operator, that is multiplication of strings, one operand should be a string and the other operand should be a number, that is an integer. Now the next thing what we have is two functions, str function and int function. Str function is it is used to create strings, as well as the same function can be used to convert a value to a string. In the same way, int function is used to create integers, as well as it is used to convert or typecast any string which contains numerical values or a numerical string into a number. It may be a floating point or it may be what you call an integer. Now, this I mean we have talked about the triple quoted strings, that is triple single quotes or triple double quotes. So this triple quoted strings are nothing but we can create strings with triple quotes also, but these triple quoted strings are usually used for documentation purpose. Suppose when we define though we have comments in Python and comments are used using hash, but once since the what do you call Python is object oriented, we will be having classes, and classes may be having several methods, and inside those methods are to describe what that class is or to describe what those methods is, we will be using triple quoted strings. So these triple quoted strings are sometimes also known as doc string, which stands for documentation strings. So strings can be created in three ways: in single quotes, in double quotes, and using triple single quotes as well as triple double quotes. Now there are several methods which are as part of the string. So if we have an object dot upper, it will convert the entire string into uppercase. The same way, object dot lower will convert entire case into a lowercase. Now capitalize will convert a string. The first character of the string as what you call capital letter, and the rest all the other characters as a lowercase. And all these things, all these methods, remember, they will return strings. So original string is not manipulated; it will return a new string. We also have swap case. For example, all the characters. If a character is a uppercase, it will convert into lowercase. If a character is a lowercase, it will be converted into uppercase in strings. And then we have a title case. Title case, is also just like what do you call your capitalized. Uh, but suppose if it's a string, obviously, the first letter of the first word will be converted to uppercase. Now, so these are the very basic methods of what we have in strings. Now we will move on to the what do you call the most important part of strings. No, I mean not strings. Actually, it is part of Python itself. About the indexes. Now the index of a in Python, the index starts from 0. Indexing starts from 0. So suppose if we have a string computer, computer, computer. This string computer, the index starts from 0. So 0, the first character will be on the 0th index, and then subsequently we will have the incremented indexes. So the length of this string is 8. The length of the string is 8. So indexes we'll have from 0 to 7. Now there is, in Python, we have negative indexes also, or we call it as reverse indexes. Now, in other programming languages, if you use negative index, it will give you an error. Here in Python, we can use negative indexes. What negative index does is, negative index starts from the end of the string and continues the index negatively till the start of the or beginning of the string. And when negative index is used or reverse index is used, it starts from not 0, it will start from -1. And as we spoke, that negative starts from the end of the string till the beginning. So the last character of a string is represented in negative indexes as -1. The last character is represented as -1. And subsequently, as we move to the what do you call subsequently as we move further to the beginning of the string, we have the negative indexes like -2, -3, -4 till the beginning of the string. Now, so suppose if we do index of, obviously indexes are used with the square brackets itself. So index of 7, index of 7, index square bracket 7, I will be getting the R as the character. I can also use index of -1, which will also give me R as the character. In the same way, to retrieve the character P, I can use index of 3, as well as I can use index of -5. So this way, even negative indexing works works in Python. Now, the most what you call sought out concept of Python is slicing. Now, this slicing is nothing but it is just like chopping of strings. Not only strings, even list is there. We can slice. The other data structures are also there, which we can slice in Python. But let us try to talk about slicing with respect to strings. Now, slicing is nothing but you can retrieve the substring from a string. So, suppose here we are having the the start as well as the end index for the slicing part. Start index and end index or past index, what we call it. Now the term, sometimes some textbooks use our end index, or sometimes it's a past index. Now past index means index but 1. Past index means index but 1. It is not start and just what do you call end. One, some textbooks which uses end index, it will be like end -1. But we are using the term as past index, what is described in your prescribed textbook. So what this start index and past index means is, suppose let us take string of 0, 3. 0, 3. So 0 is the start index, 0 is the start index, and 3 is the past index. So now what happens is, this past index means we need to go past till past index but 1. So when we have string of what we call 0, 3, the value returned would be till 0 to 2. That is COM. P is 3, it's past index. P will not be returned. So it will be COM. So if it is 0 to 3, that means string which will be returned will be 0 to 2. Now suppose we can also use string of what do we call -7 to, let's say, -2. So we can have string of -7, -2. So what will be returned? O, M, P, U, T. Not -2, because it should be -2 -1, which is -3. So it will return from -7 till -3. So this is what always remember, the past index means the end -1, or so past index -1. So this is how slicing would be performed in Python. Now here we have certain methods in string, like length, len method, which gives the length of the string. Index is a method which gives the index of the starting character of a substring when we pass a substring in the as the argument. Then index has got another what you call overloaded method, that is we pass substring comma start index. Start index means from that position start searching for the substring. And then we also have start index and end index. Now remember here it is not past index, it is end index. So you can specify between this index till this index, search for that substring. Then there is R index also, which means reverse searching for the indexes. This R index also has got the same what you call overloaded methods as we have for index. That is R index substring. Start from the what you call so and so index, then start as well as between search between start and end index. Now there is a find method. Now string, there is a find method. Find and substring does index does the same. Now so find substring starting from that index, find substring starting between start index and end index. But remember, if the string what do you call now the difference between index and what do you call find, the difference between index and find is that both returns the indexes, but the difference is that index uh, will if substring is not found, index will raise an exception, it will raise an error, it will raise an exception, value error. If substring is not found, it will not return -1. Like in other programming languages, if a string is found, it will return the index. If it is not found, it will return -1. Same way here, index and R index will not return what you call -1 if string is not found. It will return value error. But find will return -1 if what you call string is not found. So remember, this is the two difference. Index gives the error, but find will return -1 if the string is not found. Now, as we have find, we also have reverse find, that is arc find, which will start from finding it from the reverse of the string. Now there is a method count, where we can count the number of characters in a substring. Count also has a slicing part, that is start as well as the end index, to count between start from a certain count, start the counting from certain index, or count the substring between certain start and end index. Then we have a split function. This split function by default will split split the string using the space as the delimiter. We have an argument where we can provide the what you call a separator also. For example, if I have a comma in a string, I can split that using comma as the separator. The same way we have R split, that is splitting it in the what you call the reverse order. That is R split in the sense splitting from the back of the string. Now these are the certain let us talk about another method known as join. And the join method will join what do you call it is actually a reverse. The join method is actually a reverse of the split method. Instead of splitting, we can use join method to join the different types of strings here. Join method itself will take up a string as the argument. So some string s dot join, you will get the result as what you call you will get the result as a concatenation of the strings. Now there is other methods also ends with, where we can provide a substring, or what we say suffix, and this also has three methods. The purpose of ends with method is that it will return true if the string ends with that suffix. The same way we have start with, where we say we provide a prefix or a substring, it returns true if the starts with a if the string starts with that prefix or with that substring. So this ends with as well as starts with has also can be applied using slicing, that is using the start index as well as the end index. Now there are other few methods like is al num, is alpha, to check whether the string is alphanumerical or the string is only alphabetic. Is ASCII is printable characters. For example, /n character A is a printable character, whereas /n character /n is not a printable character. So it will return as true or false. Is decimal, is digit, is identifier, is lower and is upper. That is the case we find it. Is identifier is nothing but if it is a certain special type of a string, which is not part of the readable string. It is a identifier in the sense it is any special string that Python has defined. And then we have is numeric. There is a difference between decimal and is digit and is numeric. Is numeric return true for any floating point or decimal integer numbers. Then we have if it's a space or if it's a title, the case it's a title case. So these are the few methods there. So what do you call so these were the basic methods for the usage of a string. Now apart from that, we have some special method known as split lines, where it just works as a same way as your split method, but here we can split using /n, that is the new line character. So today we have seen Python's numbers and strings. Now in the next class we will move on with the the other things, that is how to take the input from the though there are boolean type, that is true and false. And remember, true and false here, T is capital for true and false, F is capital for false. The other thing we will cover up is there is also another type known as none. There. This none type, that is what it does is any object which does not have any is not referenced anymore, it will be having a none as the type, and that object will be removed from the memory. So basically there are four types here: numbers, strings, boolean, and none data type. Next class we will cover up, that is tomorrow's class, we will try to we will cover up the input and output as well as files, and if time permits we will cover up the functions part. It's already 11:25 or 11:26, so I think let us end the class now. If you have any questions or doubts, I think you all might have received in your emails a classroom invite for web programming. Please join that classroom invite. I will be having quizzes as well as assignment posted there. All the videos or all the material which is available for this and videos created by me as well as the class videos are posted in the classroom. So all of them might have got the invite for the classroom in your MJCET email addresses. So just accept the invite and join the class. You will find all the textbook material as for reading purpose, as well as you will find all the videos for different topics, as well as videos posted for these online classes, and you can also pose the questions there. So I think it is already time, so let us wind up, and tomorrow we will continue with the Python part.